Welcome to another Blender recap video, and in this one we're gonna take a quick look at two not necessarily features, but like to show like how to do these two things. And first will be how to do like specular eyes, like if you've seen in like if you're familiar with anime, kind of like how you have like that, like that white on like the black eyeball, kind of like how to do that, or in video games too, you might have seen. And then we're gonna look at like applying a texture to a mesh, like a rock wall texture. So first, let's get into making the eyes. Turn on screencast keys if it allows me to. Yes, there we go. Screencast. Right. X to delete this. Shift A, mesh, and put a UV sphere. Right click on it and shade smooth. And then we go down here, material, add a new material. It's probably gonna take a second. And then we'll change the surface instead of principal BSDF to specular BSDF. Change the base color to black. We can go over here. And then the roughness, I believe, all the way down, and there you can kind of see that. Um, you see, this kind of makes the overall thing bright. We don't necessarily want that. Put it like right there. Should be fine. And then think we're good on that. So now we can just checking. Yeah. Specular. Yep. Okay. Right, because roughness kind of like blurs it out. You want to have it like right, like not even there. Just all the way down. All right, now we'll go ahead and delete this light that we have. You can just select it here. Press X. Gone. Shift A. We'll go to light, and we want to area light, and then press G on that Z axis, move it up, and there you go. We kind of have the beginnings of it. So now you want to go to the light, the data for light, turn up the power. I would say 60 would be a good starting point, but I feel like it's a little gray. I don't know if it's just me. We can go to like 120. It's a lot more. I feel like that's a lot better. And then you can change the shape of it. So square and rectangle, they're pretty similar, but I guess now you have the X, Y, so now you can make it look more like a, you know, rectangle, whereas square is just one. And then disc of that, and then ellipse. Ellipse now, it's kind of, the difference between the square, rectangle, disc, and then ellipse. So that's kind of pretty much it, to be honest. So we just go right here. We can just mess around with it, kind of like how an eye looks. We can select this and rotate, go like that, and then grab it, move it like that, and then we can shift D, duplicate if you want to have two of it. Here, and then rotate it a little right there. And there you go, you kind of have like the eyeball with the, specular, the anime comic look. And one thing, a neat thing to do that Dr. Rick showed is Shift A, put an empty if you're familiar with game programming, where we have like an empty game object like in Unity. So we just create empty like this, and then move. So select, say, the first area light, and then if you want to put it in there, you need to press Shift, and it'll kind of be like, oh, where do you want to put it in there? So put it into this empty, take this area light, put it into this empty. Why is it not doing it? There we go. Okay. Why is that? Okay, it just wants to be a little finicky. I think it might be because of my mouse. Um, if it wants to go in there. Why is it doing that? Okay. I don't know, but you get the idea. I don't know, my mouse is being a little finicky. I was able to do this earlier, um, but yeah, you want to move that, and that way you can just select the empty, right? You're just kind of moving around the eyeball for animation or something. Um, you can just move around the empty instead of having to move around each thing. So that way, if you want the how the eyeball to look, this specular, like if you think this looks good, then you can just move the empty around. So look at that. Now I'm able to just move, since both the area lights are in there, we can move those together. Um, Not sure why it won't let me put the sphere in there, but you get the point. So that's it for how you can make an eyeball like this. Now let's move on to adding a texture. Alright, so where we want to go is the website is called Polyhaven. And then we click on this. Then we go to, I believe, textures, browse textures, yep. Then go down to this one, rock wall 13. This is the example Dr. Ricks went over, so that's why I'm going over it. Nothing in specific. I bet you could do it with the other ones as well. You can just click download right here, and then you should just go to your downloads folder as a zip folder, and then you can unzip it. Let's go back to Blender. Take this, delete this, Shift A, mesh, UV sphere, good old UV sphere, shade smooth. And now what we want to do is go to, no, first apply a material. We have our material. Now go to shading. And in shading we have our principal BSDF and material output. So in order to bring this is like an image texture, and in order to bring it, what we want to do, this is just how for all image textures. But what we're going to do is a little bit going to be more specific to adding this texture that we obtained from this website. So we go Shift A, search, and then I guess image texture shows up right away, but image texture. Put it right here. We want to open. We'll go to our downloads folder. It should be rockwall underscore 13, rock underscore wall underscore 13 underscore 4K textures, and then first, in order to connect to the base color, we want to get is this one, rock underscore wall underscore 13 diff. So I'm not gonna read out all of this every time, but diff. That's what diff. Between all these, different between all these. So diff 4K. Select and then go connect these two. And now we can look at that. We got our the base going. So what we'll do is do that. That way it's not in our way. We'll do Shift A. We want another image texture because our goal is like we saw in the here. We kind of want to like show these ridges and make it as close to as that. So what we'll do is obviously go back to Blender. So just the base color is not enough. We're gonna have to add those textures and whatnot. So go back to our downloads, all 13 textures, and this time we're gonna take care of the roughness. And for that we go this one, which says rough, and then connect this to the roughness node. And then next we want to make it smaller as well. I will go Shift A again, bring another image texture on here, and then now we want to affect the normals. So we'll go open, same process. Maybe yours will hopefully be like quicker, but for this we want to choose the normals. It's like NOR, normals GL. Select that and connect that, and there you go. I think it's not as easy to see on here, but you could kind of see the roughness and whatnot. Um, but we're not quite done. One more thing to add is the displacement. So Shift A, and then go here, place another image texture, Open, same old process, and then this one, displacement, and go to there. And we're not quite done, even though we're done attaching everything that we need to over here. We still need to do one more thing, which is what will help capture it correctly. And for that, we go to materials. We're in our surface. We want to go to, I believe, setting. Okay. Materials, go down to settings tab, surface, and then displacement. Adjust this from bump only to displacement only. So now we really have that rock wall texture. Like it's, it's pretty legit. So go to rendering engine to cycles, change the CPU to GPU compute because it'll be much faster and better. Obviously you can't see it here. Let's see. There we go. Alright, let's render it out and see how it looks. It's gonna take a second here, but because it's doing 4,096 samples, so um, but yeah, that's how you would apply a texture, and you want to make sure not every time you apply a texture, it's not gonna be as complex as this, that where you need to do the base color, roughness, and whatnot, because it'll vary based on your project and your needs. But for something like this, where you really want to show like the feel and whatnot, this is a pretty simple way where you can go to this website, download it, and then this is how you would set it up. If you want to make like a house or something like that, or a wall. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Um, so I hope that uh, um that the specular eyes, if you're making like a character, that's helpful, and then if you're making some, buildings and whatnot, they should be helpful. So that's it, and thank you.